Gary Ward.
The excitement and enthusiasm of Oklahoma State University Cowboy Baseball. A program built on character, courage, intelligence, and ability. A program that has just completed a decade of dominance. The Oklahoma State University baseball program has seen growth and success like few other schools in the country. This is a success story created by head coach Gary Ward and his staff, but written by the players, talented individuals who came to Stillwater, Oklahoma to author a dream and see that dream come true. Gary Ward took over the Oklahoma State baseball program in May of 1977. The turnaround began immediately. The 1981 team was Coach Ward's first full recruiting class. It was a mature, talented ball club looking for respect. The early season went as expected, winning ball games and developing prospects. Jim Traber was one of the catalysts of the ball club. The Maryland sophomore led the team in hitting with an average of .396 with 11 home runs and 69 runs batted in. Traber had 26 doubles for a team that established a league record with 169 doubles. Oklahoma State had a first-round draft choice in 1981 in Darren Dilks. The Ontario, California left-hander set a school record with 153 strikeouts. He was also outstanding at the plate, hitting .336 with 9 home runs. The Montreal Expos made Dilks the 18th player taken in the 1981 draft.
Happy at the moment.
Just 4 years into his tenure as Cowboy head coach, Ward led Oklahoma State to its second Big 8 Conference championship. Oklahoma State won the postseason tournament and advanced to NCAA regional play with a 3-1 win over Nebraska in the championship game. State battled Oral Roberts University on the Titans' own turf in the regional tournament. Oral Roberts was tournament tested and experienced, but the Cowboys responded to the challenge and won the regional by beating host Oral Roberts twice. An ultimate goal had been accomplished, and the 1981 dream had taken shape. It was on to Omaha and the College World Series. In Omaha, the Cowboys sent a message. Oklahoma State had a program to be recognized. OSU beat South Carolina, Miami, and Arizona State. Despite losing to Texas, Oklahoma State played for the national championship against Arizona State. OSU finished second in the nation in 1981, but Oklahoma State's performance would not only change their own philosophy in recruiting, it changed the way the nation would look at Oklahoma State in the future. The Cinderella Cowboys now knew their way to Omaha, and they would be back.
I think the most exciting time of our coaching career at Oklahoma State probably was at that moment. Leaving Omaha, we realized that everything we had said for 3 or 4 years to all the groups and posse clubs and et cetera we had talked to was about getting back to Omaha, about becoming a national power. And it had happened. The predictions and all the promises had come through, and now we could change the recruiting philosophy. And as we climbed on the Greyhound, headed back to Stillwater, young assistant Tom Holliday and I talked, and we're excited about the fact that we had to recruit so hard, and the talent was limited. Now we were exposed nationally. People recognized Oklahoma State. Young people out there in New Jersey or California would know who we were, and we could change our recruiting philosophy and go to a higher level of talent. And there was excitement throughout, excitement when you got back to Stillwater and throughout the summer. We had a coaching staff and a community that was aroused by Cowboy baseball, and the excitement was already started toward the '82 season.
1982 saw other teams look at Oklahoma State with a newfound respect. The second-place finish in the 1981 College World Series brought credibility to the OSU program. Respect and credibility, two more bricks in the building of a program. '82 saw the explosion of Robbie Wine on the baseball scene. The son of former Major Leaguer Bobby Wine was named a first-team All-America as a sophomore. He hit .364 with 19 home runs and 70 runs batted in. Another highlight of the '82 season was the dedication of Allie P. Reynolds Stadium. Named for the former New York Yankee great, the 3,000-seat, $1.6 million complex was formally dedicated on April 24th, 1982. The dedication gave new emphasis to Oklahoma State baseball and may have been the catalyst to the development of a new attitude in regard to the importance of the program and what could be accomplished. Even though it was a relatively new ball club personnel-wise, the 1982 Cowboys won another Big 8 championship. Gary Canwisher set a school record with 13 victories. Dennis Livingston set a school record with 10 saves. Benji De La Rosa set a Big 8 record by getting a hit in 9 consecutive at-bats. James Hudson hit .360 on the year, but missed the Big 8 tournament because of injury. He was well enough to accept the championship trophy. Oklahoma State hosted its first regional in 1982 and breezed to the championship, beating Minnesota and third baseman Terry Steinbach, now a member of the Oakland Athletics, and catcher Greg Olson, now a member of the Atlanta Braves. For the second year in a row, Cinderella was back in Omaha. After losing to Texas and Roger Clemens, the Cowboys bounced back to beat South Carolina, but a loss to Wichita State sent OSU home filled with disappointment in their fifth-place finish.
I really think in '82 that we accomplished probably everything we could, maybe accomplished as much as we did in '81, but there was a feeling that there was something left to get done. I think there was more pressure, new pressure on the players and coaches all year, because we talked constantly about we're not going to let go of that '81. We're going to work very hard. And we knew as coaches that we were pretty young, we were pretty thin pitching-wise, and we lost Benji De La Rosa and James Hudson to injuries late. We went into a College World Series a little bit crippled, and we lose to a Roger Clemens. You know, I look back on that, that's not a bad guy to lose to, but somehow the fandom and the baseball club and the coaching staff, after leaving in '81 and celebration in '82, we left very, very disappointed. Disappointed with a situation that we weren't ready to take a step higher, that we'd worked all year to go that extra step, and in reality we had covered no more or accomplished no more than the '81 club. And so there was a new resolve that summer to prepare for '83.
Oklahoma State had no intention of being Cinderella forever. The glass slipper and all that goes with it went by the boards in 1983. There was now an expectation of success around the Cowboy program. Recruiting had been good from 1981 and 1982. The 1983 Cowboys were expected to be in Omaha at season's end, even before the season started. The positive attitude had been created, and a confidence was being developed. Robbie Wine ended up being a #1 draft choice of the Houston Astros. He was the 8th player taken overall in the Major League Draft. Dennis Livingston became a starter and won a school and Big 8 record 15 ball games. Livingston led the nation in strikeouts in 1983 with 180. Freshman Pete Incaviglia set the tone for future years by hitting .371 with a school record 23 home runs and driving in a school record 78 runs. Oklahoma State was beginning to dominate the Big 8 Conference. They won their 3rd straight Big 8 championship. The NCAA regional tournament saw the Cowboys host Wichita State and Oral Roberts. Oklahoma State had grown as a group throughout the season. They beat Wichita State and twice defeated rival Oral Roberts to earn their return trip to the baseball showcase in Omaha. The Cowboys won their World Series opener by beating Stanford 3-1.
Suddenly hit ball to right field. This could get out of here. Hits off the wall. Off the wall. Rounding third base, as you see it, steaming home. With all the bases, they rule it's a home run.
National Power Texas was next. It was a classic ball game. The Cowboys grabbed the lead and had Longhorn ace Roger Clemens on the ropes. The Rocket left, but Texas rallied to win the game 5-4 in 10 innings.
He scores standing up and sliding in second.
Oklahoma State went to the losers bracket and had another classic duel with nationally prominent Arizona State. A 6-5 Sun Devil win left the Cowboys 5th in the nation again.
You know, we went there in '83 with the idea that that maybe, just maybe, we had the kind of talent to compete. Realizing at this time that '81 was really a Cinderella year, and then maybe '82 we won more games with less talent than any time here, and all of us had a tremendous flush of energy from '81, and '82 we rode that, and looking back in retrospect, '82 was not a real talented ball club. '83 was a club we thought maybe for the first time we had a chance, and we walk in there and beat a good Stanford ball club behind Dennis Livingston, a 3-1 win, beautiful baseball game, and then face Clemens with Eric Smith on the mound, and he gets us in extra innings 5-4. We lead 4-1 in the 7th, and it's the first time an Oklahoma State club under Gary Ward had a situation in front of them that said, we win this game, we got a chance for a national title. Maybe the pressure was too great. We look back on that as the first time maybe saying to ourselves we didn't have the experience and the ability under fire to play with these great ball clubs, but certainly in '84 we would have.
Coach Ward had every reason to be optimistic about the 1984 season. He had a mature ball club, talented both offensively and defensively. Dennis Livingston put together 10 wins and finished his career with a school record 33 victories. But John Farrell became the ace of the staff with 12 wins and 8 complete games. Pete Incaviglia had another banner year, hitting .352 and breaking his own school record for home runs with 29 and runs batted in with 103. Incaviglia led the nation in RBIs and was a first-team All-America. Livingston and Gary Green were both first-round draft choices. Livingston went to the Dodgers, and Green went to San Diego after playing for the United States in the 1984 Summer Olympics. The talented Cowboys rolled to another Big 8 championship. In the 1984 regional, Oklahoma State stumbled against the Chiefs of Oklahoma City University, but OSU regrouped and beat Texas A&M, followed by 2 wins over the Chiefs. The optimism expressed by Coach Ward 5 months ago was rewarded with another trip to the College Baseball World Series. There were so many great teams in the country, but Oklahoma State's program was on solid ground and they could compete with anybody in the nation. Maine had an excellent team led by future Major League hurler Billy Swift. Oklahoma State beat Swift and Maine 9-5. After a loss to Arizona State, the Cowboys faced elimination at the hands of New Orleans. But a dramatic, run-producing ninth-inning double by Incaviglia gave the Cowboys an 8-7 win and a tremendous emotional lift. Oklahoma State jumped on Texas for 12 runs in the first 2 innings. It was obvious Oklahoma State had a tremendous offensive team. Next up was Cal State Fullerton. The game was hampered by rain. The weather created a change in mentality for OSU. The Cowboys never got on track, then lost to Fullerton, a team that went on to win the national championship. Oklahoma State had to settle for 3rd in the nation.
I think '84 leaves me angry. In '81, we changed the recruiting philosophy. This was the time it's supposed to come to fruition. We're in a situation now where we have the kind of people to play, and maybe we've gotten enough tournament experience to say that we belong, and other coaches around the country are calling Oklahoma State one of the top 10 programs in the country. We've gained respect. The regular season has become just a passing of time in order to get to the playoffs. The Big 8 championship's no longer important. It's time to win, and I felt pressure. And I felt anger when I didn't accomplish it, because we'd won 2 national titles in junior college, and damn it was time. It was our turn. We'd earned it. We'd paid our dues. Those are the kind of feelings you had, and it took a lot of the joy out of coaching, I guess. And I'm still angry when I left. And I'm still angry about it today, because it was probably our best ball club.
Record crowds were turning out to watch Oklahoma State play baseball. This was a critical time for the OSU program. There were 5 NCAA Division I schools in the area: Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Wichita State, and Oral Roberts, and they were all emphasizing baseball. It was Oklahoma State rising to the top. The 1985 Cowboys were led by Pete Incaviglia, who put together the greatest year college baseball had ever seen. His school record .464 batting average paled compared to his other numbers. Incaviglia set NCAA single-season records with 48 home runs and 143 runs batted in. His 100 career home runs is another NCAA mark, and his career slugging percentage of .915 is still in the NCAA record book. Incaviglia was a first-round draft choice of the Montreal Expos, the 15th player taken overall. He was traded to Texas and went directly to the major leagues.
Obviously, he had a remarkable year, but more importantly, I think every day he came to the ballpark, he inspired everybody around him. We enjoyed watching him play. He was our leader, but he cared and loved the people he played with, and he expressed that on the team bus and around the club, and that was never shown to the public. And I have great memories of Pete Incaviglia as a great young man.
It was not for certain the 1985 Cowboys were as good as 1984. Pitchers Dennis Livingston, Gary Canwisher, John Farrell, and Mike Henneman were gone. 4 of the finest pitchers to ever compete at Oklahoma State. But the 1985 Cowboys was a disciplined group built around the Sunday school bunch.
Well, I had 3 guys who really were close. Kevin Fowler and Mike Day, Randy Whistler were great friends, and they were the all-American boy in each one of those youngsters, and deeply disciplined, and they gave us great inspiration and leadership all year long. But as a trio, I nicknamed them the Sunday School Bunch in a kidding fashion, but more importantly, to let them know that I understood who they were and that I cared about them and that we'd tolerate them.
Oklahoma State won yet another Big 8 championship, their 5th in a row. Cowboys once again hosted a regional. Only Wichita State stood between OSU and a fifth consecutive trip to Omaha. Oklahoma State prevailed 10-6. The Cowboys lost to Mississippi State with the likes of future major leaguers Will Clark and Jeff Brantley of the San Francisco Giants, Bobby Thigpen of the Chicago White Sox, and Rafael Palmeiro of the Texas Rangers. Oklahoma State came back to beat South Carolina.
On the ground, over the head of the pitcher. Here comes Whistler. And the ball game is over. It wasn't easy.
And it wasn't pretty.
It wasn't pretty. But Gary Ward will take it. Oklahoma State just outscores South Carolina 16-11.
A loss to Miami sent the Cowboys home. And for the first time in 5 College World Series appearances, there was a feeling the ball club had performed to less than its capabilities.
85 was the beginning of pressure. We lost a lot of talent in 84. In 85, we're rebuilding, yet people are expecting us to do the same things. And as coaches, we're getting to feel that little panic back there that says, geez, I got to work harder, do more. It's expected now. It's a responsibility rather than feeling the elation of accomplishment. It's expected. You got to win the Big 8, win a regional. Coach, just how far can you go at Omaha? And if we don't finish third or fifth, then we've had a lousy year. And so the evaluation of others from the outside was adding great pressure to it, and we were beginning to feel that.
With Pete Incaviglia taking his game to a higher level, most observers felt Oklahoma State would falter in 1986. But the Cowboys had worked hard to gain national recognition. Oklahoma State had developed tradition, and tradition became the power. OSU had done a good job of recruiting. It was not difficult to find quality student athletes interested in Oklahoma State. The program had developed to a point there was outstanding talent waiting their turn to play.
Up the middle, base hit for Espinal. Around third is Diaz. He'll score as the throw is up the line. Hit deep to left field. It's another one. It's gone.
A couple of freshmen showed up in Robin Ventura and Monty Ferris. Ventura broke Incaviglia's single-season batting mark by hitting .469. Ventura was not only named an All-America, he was the college freshman of the year. In the fall, prior to the 1986 season, the Cowboys worked harder than ever before. There was a tremendous work ethic. There was more purpose, more direction. The hard work paid off with a Big 8 record 30-game winning streak and a 6th straight Big 8 championship.
And a swing and a base hit, and this will score 2 Cowboy runners as Espinal digs in for second base against the man from California here for the Cowboys. A bloop single out into right field and coming around to score. And the throw home, not in time.
For the 5th year in a row, Oklahoma State hosted an NCAA regional tournament. The Cowboys beat Richmond, Appalachian State, and Stanford twice. It was back to Omaha, where people were now saying it's Oklahoma State's turn to win the World Series. pressure was on the Cowboy program. Oklahoma State lost their series opener to Miami. Behind Robbie Walton, Oklahoma State shut out Indiana State. After falling behind, the Cowboys came roaring back to whip Loyola Marymount 11-5. Could not hold on to a 5-0 lead over Florida State and eventually lost to the Seminoles 6-5. The Cowboys season was over with a record of 56-15, but Oklahoma State had sent a message. Continuity in the Oklahoma State program was firmly in place.
Well, I think it's personal when you have when your program has a great player like an Incavilla, and the coaches and people out there are saying, well, they're great because of Incavilla, and we as coaches recognize the fact that we showed that we could coach a long time ago, and this was another opportunity for us to send the message back to people that we're going to get great players at Oklahoma State. They're going to enjoy being a part of the program. We're going to coach and develop them. We're going to have some continuity. A tradition has taken over here, and just because Incavilla is gone. Doesn't mean we're not going to ride back in Omaha. So a lot of personal gratification coaching-wise. I think the players on the field felt that same thing, quite frankly, and we transferred that to them. It's important for new rookies, Ferris and Ventura, they say, guys, it's time. When you step on the field, it's our traditional win. We're expected to win. We're going to do it in spite of the loss of Inky, and we're going to do it today, and we're going to do it next year.
The 1987 Cowboys were an offensive juggernaut. The team had a school record 352. They led the nation in home runs with 141. And for the third consecutive year, led the nation in scoring, averaging almost 11.5 runs per game. One of the pressures of the year fell squarely on the shoulders of third baseman Robin Ventura. His numbers were incredible, with a batting average of .428 and 21 home runs. Ventura led the nation with 110 runs batted in. He also put together a little hitting streak. Ventura set an NCAA record by hitting safely in 58 consecutive games. He was named the College Player of the Year and would later be named the College Player of the Decade.
Well, I think Incavilla's experience for me as a coach had led me into a situation with Robin where we realized he did have superstar potential. We nicknamed him the franchise early on and began to work with him to handle the media, and he was just brilliant in that approach. And anything he did individually all year long, never got in the way of the ball club, right through the playoffs on into Omaha. He was so humble and so classy that nationwide media were really taken by him. He was a sweetheart.
The Cowboys went through another season expecting to win games and doing so. It was on to the Big 8 postseason tournament and another championship matchup with a good Oklahoma team. The Sooners led OSU by a couple of runs with just an inning to go. Oklahoma had their ace on the mound, current Cincinnati Red Star Jack Armstrong. Oklahoma State managed to tie the game, then win it in extra innings for their 7th straight Big 8 championship. This was an important moment in Cowboy history because OSU was in a position to falter, to relinquish their stranglehold on the Big 8. But champions don't falter. They do what has to be done, and OSU did it, proving they had the best program in the Big 8 and one of the finest in the nation. After the Big 8 tournament, the Cowboys received some shocking news. They were told by the NCAA they would not be hosting a regional tournament. Instead, they were sent to Mississippi State in Starkville, Mississippi. It was one of the toughest places in the country to play. But OSU accepted the challenge, played hard for 5 days, and won the regional tournament. And they did it while overcoming prejudices toward their Spanish and black players. From Starkville, it was back to Omaha to take another shot at a national championship. Coming into Omaha, Coach Ward had never felt prouder of his association with a group of individuals. A new maturity and focus had entered the OSU program. The Cowboys opened the World Series with Arizona State and beat the Devils 8-3.
Curveball hit high and deep to left field. Way back there. That ball is gone. A home run. Fastball line to right center field. Over goes Rumsey. Can't make the play. It rolls to the wall. Barris on his way to third. Barris being waved in. He'll score. On his way to third is Smith, and he's in there with a triple.
Then it was an 8-7 win over LSU and a 6-2 win over Stanford.
On the move is Boyd. Can't get there, drops for a hit. 1 run is in. 2 runs will score. It's a 1-run ball game. But now it's 8-7 Oklahoma State. Ground ball to Ventura. It's fair. The throw on time. The Cowboys advance in the 1987 NCAA College World Series. Grounded up the middle. If it gets through, the game could be tied. A single to center. Iflin scores. Berrigan scores. The Cowboys are even. Strikeout number 11 for Pat Hope, his second complete game in the 1987 College World Series. The Cowboys advance.
After losing to Texas 6-5, it was Oklahoma State and Stanford for the national championship. Back-to-back home runs by Benny Castillo and Brad Beanblossom put 13-game winner Pat Hope ahead 3-2. But the lead did not hold up, and Stanford won the national title.
We're in the hell Starkville. Mississippi State, a program that had beat us in the World Series previously with some great players, Will Clark, Palmero, Brantley, Thigpen. We knew we were in for a real tuss. But we didn't realize we were going to roll in there and face the prejudice of the media, and we were going to be the hated enemy, and we were going to have to sequester our players in a hotel and hide from the public. And what we endured there in basic prejudice against our blacks and our Latin kids touched all of us deeply. And we fought our way through that for 5 days through the loser's bracket, and it still sends chills through me, I guess, as I look back on it. And arriving in Omaha, quite frankly, boy, we were a battle-weary ball club, but tremendously close emotionally. And we weren't even focused on who we were going to play. We just knew we were there and we were going to give a great effort, and we thought we had a chance to win. And we played up to our potential every day, every pitch for the last month of that season. Never was I more proud of a group of a group of baseball players and/or a ball club than the '87 club.
He does. Deep right center field. Thompson going back. He won't get this one. It's gone. A 3-run
7 consecutive trips to the College Baseball World Series was unprecedented. So 1988 brought constant work to the OSU program to retain their lofty perch among the giants of college baseball. The 1988 club was built around juniors Ventura and Monty Ferris, young men who would become first-round draft choices. Oklahoma State put together an incredible year. Once again, they led the nation in scoring and set a Big 8 conference record with 154 home runs. Ferris hit .397 and led the nation with 114 runs batted in. Ventura set conference records for career hits and runs scored. This ball club won 52 of their first 55 games. They were ranked #1 in the nation for 14 consecutive weeks, another record. Oklahoma State baseball had become a focal point for the national media. It was a difficult burden to carry. OSU rang up another Big 8 championship and hosted another NCAA regional. But the Cowboys did not survive the regional. And even though they tied the school record with 61 victories, the consecutive appearance streak in Omaha was over.
Strike three. Cowboys win.
I think my recollection of '88 was at the conclusion of the 16-6 final game here. We're in that dugout. Wichita State's over here. Another full crowd. We'd regained the regional in '88, which gave us great pride and worked hard toward that. Was a very sincere and heartfelt standing ovation from the crowd. They stayed with us for several minutes after that loss to acknowledge not only that ball club, but what had happened, what they had seen pass on. And there was also a feeling of something, the loss of a dear friend, that streak, that's 7 consecutive years. And it was a particularly difficult and emotional night.
Despite good recruiting efforts in previous years, most observers felt it would be impossible for Oklahoma State to return to national prominence after the loss of Ventura and Ferris. It was a ball club long on heart and hope, but a team short on power, speed, and experience. The 1989 Cowboys showed no fear. Tradition would not allow it. The Cowboys once again beat Oklahoma for their 9th straight Big 8 championship. Oklahoma State went to Austin, Texas for the regional tournament. Victories over Sam Houston State and Western Michigan were followed by losses to Texas and New Orleans, and the season was over. A trying year had finally come to an end.
The loss of Ventura and Ferris would be naturally followed by a year that you might be down a little bit. And yet when I left Austin in '89, I felt awfully good about what kind of year that talent. We for the first time were like maybe we were in '79 and '80. We looked at our ball club position by position when you evaluate ball clubs, and you say, well, how good are we in comparison with Texas or Arizona State? And you go position by position and say, do I have players that could play for Texas, or would Texas play for me? And in '89, we had 4 or 5 positions that couldn't play at Texas, or couldn't play at Miami, or couldn't play at Arizona State. We were short of talent, and it meant that we had to line it up, get our financial things solved, and get back in the business of recruiting the type of people we needed here and redevelop some depth and talent here.
When the 1990 season got underway, only Coach Ward, assistant coach Tom Holliday, and Brad Beanblossom knew what it meant to play in the College Baseball World Series. To get back to Omaha, this ball club was going to have to produce more with less talent than previous years. Part of the season was a struggle, but when the Cowboys got to conference play, the team began to grow. An attitude developed. Leadership began to emerge. A personality was expressing itself, and Oklahoma State was back to dominating the opponent. OSU was so dominant, they won their 10th straight Big 8 championship without ever reaching an emotional peak. Regional play was ahead, but not in Stillwater. It was on to Tempe, Arizona, where the Sun Devils of Arizona State lived, a team ranked number 2 in the nation. Oklahoma State beat Arizona State in the first game of the regional and would beat them again for the championship. There were no bad games in Tempe. When Oklahoma State returned home, Cowboy fans were proud and excited because OSU had renewed the tradition of going back to Omaha, a place they had missed for the past 2 years. National attention was again focused on Oklahoma State, and the Cowboys responded.
Got that one out over the plate, and Daniel hits it way back. It's gone. Bird had stayed outside to Michael Daniel. Got that one over the plate and up a little bit. Daly's second hit, and Manny Cervantes threw it drawn up infield, hits it to right for the hit. One run in, Clark making the throw to the plate. They cut it off. Breaking ball line to left center field. That'll go to the wall and score 2. Hit back up the middle. The second baseman, Simons, comes up and throws him out off the bag, but the tag made by Wahlberg. And Oklahoma State has eliminated LSU.
The dream of a national championship was within the grasp of Oklahoma State as they faced the Georgia Bulldogs in the title game. For the third time in this decade of dominance, Oklahoma State left Omaha as the national runner-up.
We worked all year to refocus, and they use the word gel and come together and peak. Well, this thing exploded. into a great baseball club in early April, and just began to grow and grow and grow, and they received such great compliments from coaches around the country about not their talent for the first time in a while, but this club was a ball club who executed baseball beautifully. And that was said in the playoffs in the Big 8. It was said again in the regional. It was said again in the national. And there wasn't a focal point on a great player, a great pitcher, or anything, just on the fact that this ball club executed the game brilliantly. And that was a good feeling, though, from where they started to where they went in '90. And to get to Georgia, national championship, national television, you know, it would have been right, all fair, in the Cinderella story would have ended with Oklahoma State being a national titleist. It didn't happen. Something left to be fulfilled in the program. I guess so. We'll accept that. Hopefully that's all they'll ever have bad to say about us, is we haven't won a national title at this point.